When is the last time you just slowed down to smell anything, much less the roses? More expectations at work, multiple kids' activities, troubles in paradise. And the next thing you know, you're halfway through life with nothing but a triple bypass to show for it. That's bad stuff right there. When Shawn Puffer of Bossier Parish found out his heart was barely ticking, and for who knows how long. But Shawn says he's found the good stuff. 2,300 miles up. Not one doctor said, you must be nuts.
Well, there's a few of them that...
It's kind of crazy.
One still thinks I'm on vacation right now.
I would say he's kind of crazy.
Have you lost your mind or what?
Oh, no, I've been loving it.
Number one, who's going to take 90 days, resign a job?
Going out and paddling the entire Mississippi River, which I thought was an absurd idea.
His doctors have, they think he's crazy.
I said, why he's in the hospital? But he said, I've had a dream to do something that's kind of crazy. And I'm like, what do you want to do? He said, dude, I'm going to kayak the Mississippi River.
Yeah, I don't think they fully understand what I was trying to do here.
I said, do what?
Hey, young guy.
So, how did you spend your summer? You remember that old first day of school question. I bet the answer was never, oh, I just paddled 2,300 miles down the Mississippi.
This is my sit-on-top Jackson kayak.
Shawn Puffer tells me you'd be surprised how good the cell signal is.
The wildlife is tremendous.
In the middle of nowhere, Minnesota, where I bet you didn't know some of the first miles of Old Man River is barely as wide as a ditch.
I was touching both sides of the bank at some points, trying to just fight my way through the river at its beginning.
I tracked Shawn down by phone just moments after pulling his kayak off the water, now 3 weeks into what many first called
Kind of crazy.
You must be nuts.
I don't know what it could be more crazy than this.
But what Shawn now calls slowing down.
Slowing my life down, that was an important part of this, and it's definitely been true to that.
If you call slowing down, quitting your job, buying a fancy kayak, and having your girlfriend practically drive you to Canada and leave you there.
And the last thing I can say is, I love you, be safe.
All Carrie Morgan and their half-dozen dogs can do is wait on Shawn to hurry up and slow down the river.
Probably the second hardest thing was getting in that truck and driving home from Minnesota.
Without him. But that still doesn't compare to what happened just after the first of the year.
The hardest things was letting him go to surgery.
You see, just months before Shawn put this kayak into the Mississippi.
I went through all the testing and, I got to the cath lab, and that's when they gave me the bad news that, I had some serious blockages going on. I was going to need triple bypass.
He had 4 big blockages. He had 2 over 95% and the one they call the Widowmaker, the one that if he'd had a big heart attack probably would have killed him.
And to think this voyage down the Mississippi is something he's wanted to knock out for himself for years.
One of the first things that came to my mind, even while I was on the table in the cath lab, was this river trip was going to be stolen from me once more. And 'cause I had been planning on it for the last couple of summers of trying to get this done, and just different life things kept popping up.
Had he done this last year, he'd have died. He'd have died on that water, and we didn't know he had this coming.
At the same time that his heart was given new life, you can say Shawn's soul was given a rebirth of sorts, about how living life keeps getting in the way of truly experiencing and sharing life.
A coworker of mine that was just within months of retiring had a stroke and ended up passing away the day before he was supposed to retire. It just really kind of shook me and started doing a mental inventory of what's important in my life.
Even in the place of recovery, he's going, I'm going to kayak the Mississippi. I'm like, well, let's just hope you get out of the bed. I mean, that sounds good, but...
Simple Church pastor Justin Hagler visited Shawn in the hospital, saw the determination of this former Marine, but also saw this as a calling for something much more.
If you're going to go for something, there may be a personal reason. There may be something that is driving you to do that, but a God-sized dream always involves more people, and it's always bigger than you.
So within weeks, Shawn quickly realized his personal pipe dream wasn't just about him paddling down a massive river of water.
What better platform to be paddling on an excess of water here, and there's people that they're having to walk miles per day just to get drinking water.
His downstream passage is now a fundraiser for an annual mission trip to Honduras to provide clean drinking water to thousands.
And I was like, man, now you got it. You know, yeah, you may be on a journey for yourself to find yourself, but man, when you really make it bigger than you and you can actually meet a need for someone, it's going to really be a God thing at that point. Jeremiah, look what it says. Slow down, take a deep breath. What's the hurry?
And it's become a lesson for the church congregation on Sundays.
Crazy. He may be watching right now. Shawn, what's up? Everybody say, hey!
I was able to watch it, and it was very uplifting, and you know, added some fire to what I'm doing here, and you know, it really helped to see that, see the support back home.
And a lesson for us all to just slow down.
I couldn't tell you how many deer that we've seen today.
And smell, look, and appreciate.
As I roll up on him, he's just looking at me, and then it flies off. It was just a perfect shot.
Much more than just the roses every once in a while.
So I wholeheartedly believe that God stepped in and kind of rearranged his schedule for him, whether he wanted it to be done that way or not.
And if this guy named Matt from Mississippi that he met on the river has his way.
This is something I've been wanting to do. 2 years ago, I hiked the Appalachian Trail from Georgia to Maine. And,
Now you're putting ideas in Shawn's head. Shawn's schedule will be rearranged again before we know it.
This is a U.S. Marine.
You know, if I wait 20 more years to do this when I retire, then it may not happen.
God, I got the message. Take the foot off the accelerator.
And by the way, Shawn and Matt have reached the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Matt, by the way, is an Army vet who served in Iraq. So 2 veterans serving their country and working that river. He's actually raising money for a cleanup project around Jackson, Mississippi. You can actually go to the KSLA News 12 app, find this story, and you'll find a link embedded in that story with GPS tracking on Shawn's trip. So that's pretty cool. And one other element, you got to remember, he just went through this major triple bypass.
Right.
And he had some other issues even before that. So he's having to take this medicine. It has to be refrigerated. He can't carry it for 80 days or 90 days. So his wife's having to ship it up there to towns ahead of him on the river for him to keep getting doses. Because you can't, here's 80 days.
Who brings him the medicine? Or
whatever pharmacy in that area.
Wow.
He floats to that area, paddles there, goes, climbs the hill, goes, finds it.
are you serious?
So it's a little bit more than just paddling the river to pull this off.
It's very impressive at the beginning of the river how it was so narrow that he had to pull that.
It's like a ditch.
Wow.
It's amazing.